Welcome to the HR Uprising podcast. This podcast series explores HR hot topics and challenges through conversations with relevant experts and real-life HR, learning, and OD professionals. The HR Uprising is about learning through collaboration and evidence-based action. We want colleagues to have the confidence and skills to rise up through their organizations by delivering real, lasting business value. Now, introducing your host, chartered psychologist, experienced change agent, entrepreneur, speaker, and coach, Lucinda Katy.
Hello and welcome to this week's HR Uprising podcast. I'm your host, Lucinda Katy, and this is a very exciting launch episode for a brand new HR body. So I'm delighted that this new membership organisation has chosen to partner with us on the HR Uprising podcast to bring news of their launch on the 30th of September. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. But first of all, who are they? Well, I have with me the co-founders of the brand new UK body for independent HR and people professionals. They're called the HR Independents, and the co-founders are Ruth Cornish and Katy McMinn. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to be here.
So, first of all, I know you've got lots of experience. Do you want to introduce us to yourselves as individuals, in case people haven't come across you on social media or professionally yet? Do you want to go first, Ruth?
Lovely, thank you. So I'm Ruth Cornish, and I've been in HR for 30 years, the last 10 years working independently. When I was employed, my sectors were professional services, financial services, investment banking, and the public sector, so quite an eclectic mix. And then when I became an MD, rather bizarrely, I developed this retail portfolio and businesses like Not on the High Street, L'Occitane, Charles Churret, Monica Vinader. So it just goes to show that you can do anything if you set your mind to it.
And pretty diverse background, so you should be able to identify, I'm sure, with independence in pretty much any sector based on that background.
Very much so.
And Katy, how about yourself?
Yeah, hi there. So I'm Katy McMinn. I've been in HR now for about 20 years. Started out in the legal profession before having some experience with some of the big blue chips. And then I was also in professional services as well. So I took the plunge into independent HR consultancy about 6 years ago when I made the move out of London up to the Cotswolds. So again, you know, what I've loved about being an independent is the variety, really, working with lots of different clients across lots of different industries and all of the sort of the challenges and opportunities that brings.
So obviously Katy's talking about challenges and opportunities, and having set up a business myself as well from having been employed, I know there's so much you have to work out for yourselves. It can be incredibly challenging to do something like this, which I imagine is behind the concept of the HR Independence, is it? Do you want to tell us a little bit more about what this new organisation is about?
Yes, it's interesting. When I started out working for myself 10 years ago, I, literally had a blank sheet of paper. The only thing I was determined about was I wanted to do it. And my first port of call was the CIPD. I'd been a member for many years. I was a chartered fellow. And it's fair to say that they just didn't do independence. They just only did in-house and didn't do external HR services. And it was almost like, I remember emailing the membership department. They said, Lee, get back in contact when you've got a job again and we can help. And so it was a bit disappointing. So off I went anyway and, learnt lots of things, made lots of mistakes, and eventually, set up a business that sort of thrived and flourished. But I suppose now, 10 years in, for me, the business that we're setting up is plugging that gap in two ways, really. One is it's all the practical support you need. You could be a fantastic HR people professional, but it doesn't mean you've got any idea about sales, social media, business development, networking, your website, financial management, what risks there are, etc., etc. So there's all of that. But also, I still don't feel there's a voice for the external, the independent HR and people professionals in the UK. An interesting fact the CIPD shared with us was that there's over 400,000 HR and people professionals in the UK, of which only 125,000 are with the CIPD. So many more not represented at all. But it's fair to say that if you work for an organisation, probably someone's got your back. But when you're independent, that's less the case. So that was kind of behind the concept that we've come up with.
And I can see that, in recent times, let's face it, the pressures for HR to know everything when no one knows the answers because the landscape is changing has been huge, hasn't it? So I've seen just from networking groups that I'm part of, the importance of HR to support each other. Now, one thing there, you talked about independent professionals. Ruth, are you saying that this is just aimed at people who are independent working on their own, or is it open to people who are standalone HR people, or wider than that?
Very good point. It's for anyone that works independently. So they could be self-employed or independent, the only HR practitioners who are standalone in a business. But also it's very much people that are independently minded. So when we set up our organisation, it's almost, although we, are very friendly and talk a lot and collaborate with the CIPD, it'd be fair to say that they're quite corporate traditional. And suppose for us, it's the independent. It's that innovative side, it's the entrepreneurial side. That's where we are. That's what we want to really drive forward and speak up about.
Yeah, and that very much aligns with the HR Uprising premise about giving people the skills, the knowledge and confidence to step up and make a difference in their organisation and make changes. But we're not born with that confidence. Often it's about bouncing ideas off other or building on. There are lots of good ideas that we can share. It doesn't need to be competitive, does it? We don't have to keep reinventing the wheel, even though we're independent or standalone. So in terms of what you're doing, the overall purpose, in terms of your overall sort of big purpose, it's interesting you're saying that the CIPD didn't do what you needed at the start. And how did the CIPD feel about this?
It's a good point, actually, because when we originally had the concept, we began out just with a Facebook group that we created just to support each other, and we didn't have any commercial views. And then we quickly realised actually there was an opportunity there that we wanted to take. So we actually went to the CIPD and saw David D'Souza and his team and presented to them exactly what we were proposing. Critically, the thing we're proposing, which is a gap, are any sort of standards around HR businesses in the UK. And that's what we've proposed and shared with them, and they're fully supportive. And in fact, they commented on those standards. So there are going to be 4 standards for accredited HR practices that we put on our site. This is not unusual in other professions. For example, the Law Society highly regulates the people that practice law. And although we're not regulating people, we are setting standards for everyone to benefit from. I talk to indies every day, and they just want to be given some guidance and some ideas and know the things that are important to focus on to run a professional business. So the CIPD are very supportive. I have a great relationship with Ollie Howard in particular, who I speak to every month, and we share things. And we've helped the CIPD as well, because they would identify that we are now the experts in external HR. So an example would be, we pointed out to them that if you were an independent and you gave any advice to an individual and you were paid for that, you had to be registered with the Financial Conduct Authority, and they didn't know it. And now they've issued a joint statements on their site. So it's just one example. But equally, Ben Wilmot, Head of Public Policy, is speaking at our launch.
Oh, that's great. So CIPD are on board, and what we're talking about is making something that's highly relevant to HR independence. And I suppose you're opening their eyes in terms of coming from this side of the table as to what's required and collaborating there. I mean, what you did, that example you just shared, is really quite scary then, isn't it? I mean, it hadn't really occurred to me. I mean, you have professional bodies almost everywhere else, yet there wasn't any standards for someone to set up a standalone HR business. And I can see that there must be benefits. I mean, Katy, actually, I'm sure you can talk about the benefits to indies of being members, but also I'm thinking to a business. I'm almost quite shocked to think this doesn't exist. So if you're members of the HR independents and I'm a business and I want to be sure that somebody is credible, I might look for CIPD membership. But are you saying that this would give more assurance to a business who wants to bring someone in?
Yes, so as Ruth said, at the moment there aren't any set standards. That means anybody can literally just go out, set up their own independent practice, whether they've got 3 months, 6 months experience or 20 plus years. And in some ways that's great, that it gives people the flexibility, but it is a risk for businesses, because there's no way of knowing whether the person that you're working with, or the practice that you're working with, is delivering their services in a professional way, has the right insurances in place, all of those kind of things. And so that's one of the things that we're really, really focused on, is really driving up standards within the profession. And I think, everyone that we talk to is fully behind that. So the standards that we've come up with, and that we've collaborated and worked with the CIPD on as well, just to get their input as well from the sort of the technical side of things, we've pulled together those, as well as making sure that the practice is run in a professional way. So that is about the structure and running of the practice, how information and data is managed, and also how projects are managed, files, case management, all of those things. And so what we'll do is we'll have different membership levels that we'll cover in a little bit, I'm sure. But one of those is anybody who is an accredited practice. We've looked at how their practice is run, and we've said, yeah, absolutely, you're meeting all of these standards, so let's get you out there and promote you to businesses. So that's the idea behind that.
And I like that a lot. And I was thinking that quite often I see that people need to have the confidence as well, because there is so much change and uncertainty. And I also see that particularly in standalone HR roles. So quite often someone might have gone into a small business, let's say, and they might have gone in as an administrator or something, and then they get an HR label, and they're suddenly expected to know it all. So having somewhere to go and reference with some real structure to it, and given the fact that so many of the things we're talking about really have legal ramifications, the data stuff, the legalities of employment law. So having a central repository and a central set of expertise. I mean, actually on that point, I know you have got some partners, haven't you, as well, that people can access through HR Independence. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, your sort of professional partners?
Yes, so we are really pleased to say that we've established some partners, and the idea is it worth just taking a step back and just talking a little bit about some of the support and benefits, because it falls under that umbrella.
Yeah,
really.
Great, please do. Yeah.
So really, what HRI is all about is it's bringing together, and not just HR generalists, but also people professionals who are working independently or in those standalone HR roles. And what HRI will do is provide the support and resources, a wide range of resources, to develop and help profitably grow those practices. So we've got a variety of different membership levels that will suit the different needs of members. So the three levels we've got is, first of all, our highest level, which is platinum. And our platinum membership is for those practices who have decided they want to be an HRI accredited practice. So they will have looked at those standards, and we will have spoken with them, met with them, and gone through to ensure that they're running their practice aligned with those standards. And as a result of that, what we'll be doing is we'll be promoting those platinum members on the HRI website. So we'll have a directory there for businesses to come and find an accredited practice, which gives them the confidence that they know that who they are dealing with, they are a competent professional, and as I've said before, that they're running that practice on a professional basis. And then, as well as that, the services, the support and resources that we'll be offering are, first of all, the access to HRI partners. And the idea here is to help practices to develop an additional revenue stream. So we have a partner with yourself, Lucinda, with Actus, and you're kindly providing us with a performance management online system that our members will be able to offer to their clients, and it will all be set up and ready to go. So it's a fantastic product, and it's something that they can take out to their clients as an additional offering. We also have partnered with one of the top 10 accountancy firms within the UK, and that provides us with the ability to offer payroll to our members, to then obviously take that on to their clients. And then we've also partnered with a data management, a data background checking company, so that again our members can offer that as an additional service to their clients as well. And so those will all be accessed through our website and available to our platinum members, and also our next level, which is the gold, which I'll come on to. We're also going to have Ask HRI, which is a help desk that will be online, and this is really something, it's kind of that expert in your back pocket, we kind of like to say. It's having that sort of that place to go if you need a second opinion. One of the things we all know when we have sort of moved into independent consultancy, it's not having that team to bounce ideas off. It's, you know, just running an idea or a solution past somebody. So it will be there for that kind of thing, and also general queries as well, and any support that's required. There'll be a resource centre, HRI resource centre, with loads of different tools and templates to help our members deliver their services, as well as a white label content area. And the idea behind this is, again, and this links into what Ruth mentioned earlier, is when you start out, and even once you've sort of progressed as an independent, I think what we all often find is it's really difficult to find the time to develop all of that white label content. You know that you should be updating your LinkedIn, your blogs, and making sure that you're getting out there on social media, but it's having the time to come up with all of that content. So we'll be pulling all of that together for people to access, and they can then promote that and deliver that under their own brand. And then there'll be webinars. I mean, it's a long list of benefits.
Yeah, it's really. I've seen the website. I've had a sneak preview of the website, so that's exciting.
Is it worth just mentioning another partner that we've got, which is a legal partner? So, of course, one of the things that everybody always wants is a legal opinion, and that can be accessed for any of our members via the help desk. So that's another thing that we're really excited about.
That's what actually, when I said partners earlier, it's because we were talking the legal stuff. I wasn't looking for a fish for hours. I was thinking the legal. That was what I was thinking. You said it's a great legal body, isn't it? Who's your legal partner?
Out.
That's all right.
Ruth's LLP are our legal partners. Brilliant. And they, we're very excited. We talked to a number of different legal firms, and we wanted someone that was excited about this opportunity, that was flexible, we're very excited about that collaboration. The other thing, of course, to mention about our experts, particularly our accountancy and legal partners, is that they will be providing their expertise in the form of webinars. So, for example, one of our standards around financial and risk management practice, that won't be coming from us. We'll be collaborating with Mazars, who are our accountancy partner, and likewise with Freeths. One of the things that we're going to be developing and running is a program, a course for people to become a fully accredited HR consultant, because obviously that is something that will be very beneficial. Lots of people are thinking about doing it. They've got redundancy money, and going through a program and doing different modules is a great way to really get started.
That is quite a comprehensive offering. And I was just thinking, if you were trying to do it without this, then it would be really tricky to you're curating lots and lots of content together all in one place for people to go and do it. And also, I guess, compared to being a franchise, which I know other people could go and choose to be a franchise, you're giving them the opportunity to have their own brand, but without having to, because often franchises, you have to go and take on the brand of the franchise, don't you, and pay for that. So you're kind of saying, we've got all the content here, but you can have your own brand. And you can be credible as well, because we've got the experts behind us.
Yes, that's the idea, because obviously a lot of people, when they do take that, think about becoming an independent, taking on a franchise is one of the options they look at, because the support's in place, everything's there. And so the difference with HRI is that all of the support's there, all of the tools are there, but what we're doing is we are providing the support to build your own business, your own practice, and you will always own that. You will always own all of your own clients. And it's also a more cost-effective way of doing it as well.
Yeah, great. Okay, so that's platinum. Let's briefly go through gold and I assume silver. Is that right? What's the other options?
Yeah, so the gold is all of the membership benefits that the platinum member have. The gold membership also enjoys and benefits from those as well. They are not accredited, they're not promoted on the site. That's the difference. So they still have access to all of those benefits and all of the support that they need, again, to develop that practice. And we will also, work with them and help support them if they want to get to that accredited platinum membership level as well.
Great. Okay. And just in terms of clarity, and I know you're probably working things through, and I know you'll add other things to it. I thought of some ideas that later I'll talk to you about separately, but I'm sure you've got in your roadmap. I was going to ask you about what, if you are in an organisation, how does that look if you're going to accredit somebody? Have you thought that through yet? Would you go and accredit the organisation or the HR person?
So if you're a standalone person, we wouldn't be accrediting them. They would be a silver member. And we would give them support via the help desk and our template library.
Got you.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. So it's appropriate to what their requirements are, basically.
Yeah. And an important point is they would also become part of that HRI community as well, recognising that they're in that standalone. So it's giving them that support around them as well, so that they feel part of that.
One of the things that occurs to me is, as I say, I do see lots of ad hoc advice being given to people on forums and things like that, which is brilliant. It's so good to see that. But you are effectively getting subjective advice. So I think if I was if I was setting up on my own, what this would give me is assurance that I'm getting the right information, because you do often get a range of people's opinions. So having that underpinning of accountants,
incorrect
lawyers.
Advice is what you
get. Well, yes.
Let's be honest. And that was kind of a driver for us, actually, going back to the fact that anyone can set up and run an HR business. Actually, it's quite shocking when you see some of the questions people are asking, which I think they absolutely should know if they're competent, and they're selling that to clients. So that's kind of part of something that we are sort of sifting through. There's some fantastic people, highly professional, and those are the ones that we want on our site.
Yeah, great. And bring all that great knowledge together and raise the overall profession. That's the point, raise it up. Absolutely. Great. Okay, so I mean, if any of these things are, obviously, if listeners, we will put links obviously in the show notes to your website, of course, and announce your actual launch, which is on the 30th of September at 6:30, I think it is, isn't it? So that we'll give you information on that, and we'll give you some more links at the end. So don't worry if this is kind of coming through and people are going, where do I find out more about it and where do I see the detail? It's all out there. But it sounds really, really exciting. So from an indie point of view, I can see how that would help me, but would make me build my business more effectively, give me the confidence, and it would also give me the assurance that I'm being professional. I can definitely see the assurance to clients, so we'd know where to go. I guess also within your network, there's the ability to go and draw on people with specialist services and give business to each other and learn from each other. So I can see lots of these. What else have we not covered? What do people need to know that we haven't covered so far in this conversation?
Well, one of the things that is really hard when you're on your own is working through an idea, turning something in your head into a service or a product. So one of the things that we've got on the site for our members is an incubator hub, where if you've got an idea that you want to work through, we will put together a team to work that through with you. It'll be your idea, but we'll bring in experts or whatever, because we want to encourage people, give them the confidence to be innovative. It's hugely important at the moment that businesses grow and thrive, and independent practitioners have a huge role to play to get our SMEs, get our businesses in the UK back on their feet. And the way we've always practiced HR is not necessarily the way that we should be practicing HR. So one of the things that we feel very passionately about is the collaboration that could be possible between external HR professionals and in-house HR professionals, which hitherto has not been particularly encouraged because there's been no spokesperson for it. So an example on that would be a piece of work that we're doing with the CIPD. So we approached the CIPD about this, and this is about amending the Employment Rights Act 1996, which currently gives trade union representatives the statutory right to represent individuals if they're in a disciplinary or grievance situation, also to sign off settlement agreements. Now, arguably, a qualified independent HR professional is easily able to do those things. And actually, if they could, that could be a very different type of dynamic, because those that have worked with trade unions, there's a historical management versus staff issue there that isn't particularly helpful. So actually, this is something the CIPD have embraced, and that paper has gone all the way up to government with a view to lobbying for change. So it's very exciting when you start to think about the possibilities of how the HR community can come together to collaborate and really change how things are in the UK.
And it's about making it relevant for everybody in all the roles. It's modernising it, isn't it? I mean, this is the way many people are working. So it's actually slightly scary that it didn't exist before, some might say. But well done, guys, for something that's undoubtedly needed. Go, sorry.
During COVID times, I think every HR professional had about 1 million people contacting them to ask for their advice. Everybody wanted advice from HR. And what's quite interesting here is that those people, even if they're in an organisation, weren't going to the HR team in-house because they saw them on the management side, whereas they were going to someone independent. And I think that's where the balance will come. Trade union, membership is on the decline. And so, I see a huge opportunity here to give you access to justice, access to information to really make the workplace thrive.
Yes, absolutely. And access to, as people want to work flexibly, want to, work in, small businesses, different businesses, ways in which you can build that. Because not everybody finds it easy to build a business. It's not everyone, as you started out, not everyone has, in order to be a standalone HR professional, you've got to have such a breadth of skills and technical and marketing and sales and consultancy, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it gives you the opportunity to broaden out. No one has all those, basically. So you're giving them the opportunity to have that broader expertise.
Exactly. All of the support and resources to do that. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So if people want to know more, I mean, do you want to tell them how people can sign up? Is there any more information about the launch? How much does it cost if people are interested in membership?
So we have our launch event taking place on Wednesday, the 30th of September at 6:30. And if you go to our website, to our events page, that I think you're going to share the details of that, aren't you, Lucinda? You'll be able to register.
What's your website? Tell us the URL of the website so people can actually just go to the website if they want to, but I'll put all of these links on the show notes as well.
Okay, so it's www.hrindependence.co.uk.
Great. And then we'll put this in the show notes too. Okay. So you can sign up on your events page on Eventbrite. And does that have details of the membership costs?
No. So also on our website, we've got a page there that outlines all of the different memberships, but I can just give you a quick overview now. So that platinum membership, so that's the top level of membership, that's £99 per month. Then our gold membership is £79 per month. And then our silver membership is £40 per month.
I'm going to say that doesn't sound too scary considering some of the things I've seen out there. So,
exactly.
Sounds like, and certainly from what I've seen on the website, there's a lot of value there. So I'm sure you'll get lots of interest. Brilliant. So ladies, it's terribly exciting. I think you've got a great thing going. It's going to add so much value to individuals and to the profession, I think. I really wish you huge amounts of success with it and look forward to seeing how you go there. So all the best, and I'll see you on the launch event because I'm involved with the launch event. So I'm very excited about it. But thank you so much for being on the HR Uprising podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Lucinda.
Thank you for listening to the HR Uprising podcast. You can access more information, including resources or links mentioned in the show, at our website, www.hruprising.com. Also, you might want to join our LinkedIn community or tweet to us at HR Uprising. We'd love to hear from you.